Okay, here I have another Panasonic. Pretty little pink one, although it's not looking so pretty these days. Unfortunately, the place I bought it from put a label on there and it ripped all the pink off. The other problem with it is it's gone brittle, so that corner's broken off. I assume the whole case is pretty bad, but oh no, it's got batteries in it. Didn't realise that. I didn't offer them much for this one, and they did sell it. Geez, they look like they're from the 1980s as well, the batteries. Ugh, didn't even think about that. Probably gotten worse from sitting around here, but then that is rotten, that one. Made in Australia. Yeah, they definitely are from the 80s, I think. I don't know when they last made them here, but it's probably been a while. Yeah. Good old Union Carbide. Doesn't really say much. Yeah, they never put dates on it, I think. Oh, is that a date? What does that say? 87... Wouldn't be 1987, 09 or something, would it? 08 maybe. Maybe 2008 might be, or 80s. I think that's what it says, 87, 08. Don't know if that's got anything to do with dates or anything, but... See if we can read one of these a bit better. I think it's the same thing. Hard to tell. Could be 87, 08 again. Two more, they just never end. Luckily it doesn't look like they've left too much muck behind. It says 8709, I think it says. Yeah, 8709. Sure, that wouldn't be 1987, but I wouldn't put it past someone who have left them in there since then. Yeah, same thing, it's 8709. Oh, there's a few classic Everettis I haven't seen for a while. Well, even the screw in there hasn't been rotted out amazingly. There's a screw right there. That's the original pink colour. I thought this thing is very, what you call sun cooked, I think. And no amount of, well, there's the pink as well. No amount of retro bright probably going to bring that back. You never know, it might, but I guess this would actually be an interesting retro bright experiment to see if you can get if the colour returns to it. I have my doubts. So it would have been, it's more of an orange colour now than a pink one. But something a bit different. I more or less just got it for its novelty value. But to be honest, I'm not sure it's much good for more than throwing in the rubbish in a way. It's got one of these silly straps on it, which may have to go. Built-in AC transformer, AC battery, stereo radio cassette, bass and trebles are just tone, and the controls kind of go backwards. So that's kind of a, yeah, like they're upside down. So minimum. Oh no, there's the marking. I thought this was the marking. Okay, no, they are kind of normal. I was looking at the slot. AM, FM, tuner there, and I think we've got it to bits, or have we? Got that one. Oh, one more there. I bet if you drop this one, it would break into 1,000 pieces. Oh, and there's still, despite all the damage, that bit is still screwed together. There we go. Okay, so the front comes off. Much different pink colour on the inside to the outside. Although the speakers and the door will kind of survive, but yeah, the rest is just cooked. And it looks like it's had water on the speakers. That spring's gone rusty, but surprisingly not that bad in there for battery rust. It's just bits that have fallen off the battery. I think the batteries are just rusted themselves and a little bit's leaked out the back. But surprisingly it hasn't gone everywhere like an alkaline would. This is the other. That's the other general, what's the word for it? The deck that was used in lots of different things. Oh, look at this, we've got a date here. 9th of October 87. So this, you can see, is getting into the curvier sort of styled, rounded off edge sort of shape. So it is getting towards the 90s look. Cool. Those knobs come off of that. Must have done. Where'd the other one go? Didn't realise the knobs came off of it. I found one. Should have checked that. Where'd the other one go? But yeah, that's the... There were two types of mechs used in different models and a whole lot of different tape decks. And I think it was, obviously we're getting towards the 90s, which is when that sort of happened. Because a lot of them were in the early 90s. I think this was an earlier one before. That's got that little diagonal arm as the auto stop. And then this is the one that took over. They may have been made in parallel as well. The one with a little plastic arm that wobbles up and down. So it's good to see one of them showing up. That's got another one of these little plastic erase heads. So the manufacturer probably supplied their own heads and motors and whatever. The motor's on a completely different bracket. This actually doesn't look too bad a condition. Well, electrical condition that is, and mechanical condition. The case, on the other hand. Okay, where do we plug the power in? Right over here, and it's an oddball square one again. So that must have been National that used these. National Panasonic like their oddball connectors. Now I don't know where anything is. Tape AM FM. Which one's volume? That one? Oh, it's at maximum, so that's not a good sign. I don't think we've got any power. Power's on. There we go, press it down and we do.
He's a wonderful translator. Understands my voice as a writer and translates it beautifully. Like I can watch the Spanish production and
FM lighter. So that's all going. Let's hit play and it actually runs by the look of it. And well. I can see the belt wobbling around a bit in there, so it's probably not perfect. That might be the idler belt. Yeah, there's a separate belt over here. That's going to work, I think. Volume.
If you haven't got
tape. Pots aren't even scratchy on this one, so it is basically a goer. The belts possibly could do some work. That battery spring possibly needs a good clean. Other than that, it's just a beaten up but working deck by the look of it. Turn the 240 volts off. But yeah, I don't think until you could actually see whether you can get the colour good on this, I don't think there's much point doing much at all with it. I'll give it a quick clean up. I don't think I even said what model this is. So what is an RX-FM14? Bit of an odd number. FM, but anyway, that's the model they got. Even these buttons look like they would have been white originally, so it probably would have looked quite a nice little colour scheme with pink and white, but not everyone's cup of tea, that's for sure. And yeah, it's about as far from mint condition as you can get, though actually working. So I guess this would maybe make a good donor insides for one with a good case on it. They made them in pink. They probably made them in multiple colours. You can probably get a white and a yellow or something, and a black and silver, who knows, red was another popular one. I don't know if they're like the QT sharps. They put out a whole lot of different colours. So I'm sure Panasonic would have tried to compete with that. So they could have multiple ones. A little white ball on the end of the antenna here. Another little sort of touch, because these have become more like a little fashion accessory thing then. Much like the Walkmans were for a while. Yeah, much like today you see people walking around with headphones and I don't know if they're MP3 players or what they even are now, iPods, whatever you call them these days. I've never been a big portable audio fan, so I never really kept up with it. I mean, even a boombox was really just a way to get yourself a sort of cheap stereo system that could conveniently be moved around the place. But it was still sort of just treated mostly as a home device. But they were great because you could take them camping and that sort of thing. Even if it was a bit of backyard camping or camping around someone else's house around the road or something. But at least you could take some music with you. And yeah, school trips and those sort of things. This is not going to clean up in a hurry, so I'm not sure I'm really putting my time to good use here. Would be nice if I could at least get some of the disgusting stuff off it, just to make it look a bit better. I mean, we don't want all this furry dust. But yeah, I think it's got a good antenna on it too. It maybe needs a bit of a polish. A battery cover, even as discoloured as it is, at least it's on there. The speakers look to have been faded by the sun as well. The knob would probably look a bit better if I cleaned it a bit, especially that little slot in it that's full of dust. Oh, is that going to come off or just be slow to... Let's get the toothbrush on it. Yeah, dirt across the top there, dirt everywhere. That's an improvement. And we've even got the Panasonic, well, that's in white, isn't it, as well? Someone's just tied it on here, I think, because it's probably lost its... Well, it's got the little buckle thing there to hold it. So it comes out there. That's it. Yeah, I would have thought use these buckle things. Well, they should be at the ends, I think, shouldn't they? Shouldn't that fold back and go through? Not sure. I figured out they did them now. Some were sewn together, I think. Gonna fill my cleaner back up soon. We'll see what it comes off here. It's just got muck everywhere like the other ones. Except even more dirty, this one. Again, it looks like it's had a life. The reason it's survived is because it's had a life as a radio somewhere, sitting on a shelf in a shed or something, somewhere dirty that no one cared about. It seems to be the common thing for them. They just get set somewhere and left for years and years until someone remodels it or moves house or something, and they clean everything out. It's got to look better than it does at the moment, because it is disgusting. And I've got to be careful because this may break easily if I'm not careful. Just putting this amount of pressure on it could be enough to bust it. I don't think it is that brittle. It's just someone's probably dropped it or something and broken that other bit. So yeah, this is just a... should have been sold as a parts only machine anyway, because it's no one's going to restore this up and get anything out of it. Don't know how common these ones are. I guess I should have a look on eBay now that I know the model number. I forgot I even had this thing. It was sitting in a box with a couple of others and shoved on a shelf behind other stuff as a rainy day job. Don't know why I bought it really, to be honest, but again I think I got it pretty cheap because I made a silly offer and they accepted it because of the condition. But if nothing else, at least it's one of those mechanisms I could pinch out of it. I was looking for one of those when I did the tape recorder repair video and don't think I could find one anywhere. And then of course they'll show up later on. I probably had this lying in the box at the time too, but didn't realise it. Though to be fair, I'm not sure if I had it that long ago. Might have been that. Yeah, just such a shame they put a price tag on there and put sticky tape across it, and of course me not thinking just went and ripped the sticky tape off and it ripped all the pink paint off, completely ruined the door. So I felt a bit ripped off by that. At least if I'd known, I probably could have tried using label remover and got it off. So there's a good lesson there for anyone. Don't pull stickers and stuff off the doors of these things, because they've only used paint on the surface and you're going to wreck it more likely, especially if it's been holding it in the sun like this one has. It's just coated. I don't think you can even repaint this one or something because it's got so much printing on the actual case. So that is an option. You can respray the cases or something. Some people do them in sort of funky colours to actually use them out on the street again, or as display type bits. But you know, in completely non-original, it's one good use for old boomboxes that have seen better days. If the case is really rough, you just turn it into some sort of unique box art piece kind of thing. But I can't really help myself now. I've started cleaning it. I want to get it all reasonable, even though it's not worth anything. But it gets it back to a little bit of its former glory. Still layers of stuff on here. Take that out. That just came off, didn't it? Just goes straight back on. Oh, that's interesting. So the radio dial's kind of naked until that just covers it up. And I've got to find the other knob which fell off somewhere. Yeah, I still can't get over that. It looks like that straight bit is the pointer there, but it's got a little pointer arrow on it as well. So that's... what have we got on the end here? We've got a headphone socket, that's all that is. Oh, volume at maximum, not good. And we've got to press down on the power cord, I think. Oh, there we go. Looks quite a bit better though. Shut up. Without that strap on it almost makes it look better in a way, I think. That dirt just will not come off, it's so thick. But anyway, I'll have to find that other knob. But interesting little colour on. I might look up these online and just see if they made them in a different sort of range of colours. I better put the screws back in too, I guess. Or well, I doubt they would have been just pink. But definitely getting, so what was it, 87 I think. So you can see what they're starting to probably look like in 87, because definitely by the 90s they've gone to the blander black sort of curved case ones. So some people probably prefer this style anyway. Kind of like the way they've done the angled grills and stuff on this, and the door. It's a bit better than the average one of that era, but doesn't completely different to the sort of earlier ones. I think I prefer the detachable speaker ones to these, even though this is more of a mini one. But anyway, thanks for watching. I think with these straps you might have to like loop it up, go through the metal piece, get it down one end, come back up and under. I think you might loop both of them through the same piece if you can do it. Not easy, but of course back in the factory they probably would have supplied it like that. I think that might be the secret, but it's not easy to do. Maybe I just have to put a whole ton of that through there. That would make more sense. Loop the other one over, so basically one's under the other in the same sort of loop, and we pull that one tight. I think that's how they went. That looks more like what I seem to remember. So why they're right up here somewhere weird. I did actually find a picture of a box of one of these online, and yeah, the straps definitely go something like that. They might have had them even further up. I guess it depends how long you want it, but they loop under the metal and both halves through the little buckle things. It does put this Panasonic thing off to one side, but maybe it was meant to show off to one side, so if it was on your shoulder or something, or even in your hand, you'd get a bit of free Panasonic advertising. Wouldn't be much good if people held it by that bit, I guess. Or maybe, yeah, I don't think there's just quite a lot more length on the other side. I did find my other knob, of course. It had gone inside of one of my parts drawer things there, completely where you wouldn't expect to find it, but it was doing my head in a bit where the hell it went. But it was just because that strap was over it. I didn't notice when I pulled it off, and that was holding it in place. And the only other thing really with this, I looked up these last time they made these Union Carbides in Australia. Looks like it was about 1985 or something. They shut the Union Carbide factory, so I assume they would have stopped making ever-ready batteries here. So maybe that date on it, if it is a date, is actually the use-by date, the end of the shelf life sort of date, sell-by date type of thing. So 8709 would be September 1987, which would probably mean this was actually made around the 1985 era. But they, they keep selling these 1050 batteries, but I assume they were made somewhere else after that. So these batteries might actually predate the unit. Maybe they bought them around the time of the unit when they were getting towards the end of their shelf life. Maybe a bit earlier. Maybe they already had the batteries. And I suspect they may all have been stuck in there around the time this thing was purchased and just left there for all that time. So that's a bit of a worry. How many did it have? 6. But it's possible they've been there all that time. But I might keep a couple of the better ones of those, because like I say, they don't make them in Australia anymore and haven't for quite a while. But I thought it was I'm pretty sure out of the 80s they weren't made in Australia anymore, so it could well be that around 85 this was one of the last batches of them made, with a used by sort of end of 87 type thing. I don't know what the shelf life on them was, but I think it was a year or two. And if they shut around 85, that probably would have been the end of the production. They probably took them into Asia somewhere after that. But interesting if they've been in there as long, or been around even longer than the Boombox, which was made in late 87, I think. So, bit of a weird one, but luckily they didn't do more damage than they did. Only really one of them completely rotted out. Well, 2 of them are pretty bad. So it must have been pretty moist at one stage. That's pretty much rotted through the end. That one, you can see it's all stained down the inside, so that must have got pretty moist, that one. The rest of them just seem to have just slowly dried out. And just, yeah, not really even rusted much, so that's a pretty good effort for them. There's a little bit of rust on the ends, but they all seem to be from the same batch. I think these used to come in a twin pack, so there's 3 packets they would have bought. Probably back in around 85 to 87, and like I say, they may still have been in the shop if they had slow moving batteries in that particular shop. Paint all over it as well, I just realised. So maybe they got sold around the time they purchased this. Must have been around Christmas in '87. If this had like an October date on the motor, you'd assume it'd take a little while between that, the unit being assembled and it getting into a shop and then selling off the shelf of the shop. You know, by the time it gets to Australia, though, it probably didn't take that long. But anyway, thanks for watching on that one.